I recently picked up a new four-season tent, the Nemo Kunai 2P. It's 4 pounds. A tent this heavy isn't usually what I carry, but I've been wanting to camp in the cold, snowy, and windy conditions that are often found on top of places like Roan Mountain, and this tent was built for just that. I had been constantly monitoring the weather and knew that this Sunday night would be a good time to go for a test run. It wasn't going to be extremely windy or even that cold, but the conditions would still be fun on top of Grassy Ridge Bald. We recently had a dusting of snow that only makes camping in places like this that much more interesting. The drive up was pretty uneventful until the last mile, where there were a few slick spots in the shadows of the mountain. Slow and steady saw me easily to the top. I worried a little that the next morning, after the temps dipped down again, it might bring some slippery conditions, but I had my snow cables in the car and figured if it ended up being that bad, I could always throw them on for the drive back home. I call this part the Enchanted Forest. I'm not exactly sure why, but it seems like it would be magical to me. It must have warmed up nicely because there wasn't a lot of ice on the way through. While it was only around 30 degrees, the 5 to 10 mile an hour wind was enough to warrant a hat and a balaclava. As you can see, Bubbo isn't a fan of snow at all. In fact, she hates the stuff. If you look past the trees, you can see the city of Roan Mountain, Tennessee, off in the distance. This is the spot where Wade and I camped at earlier this year. It's pretty cool to see the way the snow collects on the needles. Under all those clouds is Bakersville, North Carolina. And then there in the distance is Roan Mountain High Knob, the highest shelter of the entire Appalachian Trail at 6,285 feet. Even with weather like this, you'll find all kinds of people out here. They enjoy this mountain, obviously, just as much as I do. Continuing northbound, our next destination is Jane Bald at 5,810 feet. Do you like this? Do you like the snow? Maybe? I don't remember if it's called rime ice or horsefrost, but whatever it is, it's pretty darn cool. I'm carrying the Osprey Atmos 65 liter pack, and my total weight is about 30 pounds. That's with 2 liters of water, food for the night, and enough gear to keep me very warm. Jane Bald is right in front of us. Grassy Ridge Bald is right behind it at 6,165 feet. And there's Bubbo, out exploring. I'm showing you this little section here, not because I want you to hear me breathe hard into the mic, but also because I want you to see that it's wet. This is water right now. Tomorrow, I bet you it'll all be ice. As much as Bobo likes to explore, she also really looks out for me. She certainly likes to lead the way, but she stops every so often to make sure that I'm keeping up. There's a pretty iconic boulder at the top of Jane Bald, and every time I go there I have to get up on top of it and look around. You hear all this crunching on ice? Yeah, guess who didn't bring microspikes or crampons for the morning? While I'm trying to decide where I'm camping for the night, Bobo, yeah, she's helping out the best way she knows how, by getting rid of that white stuff. She's also not the best at working with the camera. I had thought I was going to go all the way to the top of Grassy Ridge Bald, but I think on the side of it will be just fine. This offers a spectacular view, and I think the sunrise is going to be great from right here. There's Big Hump at 5,440 feet off in the distance. I set up the tent without any issues, and Bobo promptly makes herself at home inside the tent. But now, it's time just to watch the sunset. I don't know why, but Bobo's barely paying attention to the sunset. She's obviously interested in looking at anything else. And before it gets really dark, I go and do what every great backpacker is supposed to do. I go and take Instagram pictures of my tent. The last of the light fades, and it's time to hop in the tent and my sleeping bag and get all nice and warm. Yeah, it's 6 p.m. I brought dinner, but I decide not to make it. Instead, I heat up some water and make myself a good hot tea. Yeah. This is really just to keep myself warm. The real dinner ends up being a bunch of Luna bars that I brought along just in case. And don't worry, I made sure this lid was on securely before I put it inside my sleeping bag. The morning started off a lot differently than I had expected. It was around 5 a.m. when a hunter came up within 20 feet of my tent. He had liked my location as much as I did and decided it would be a great place to spot deer. Bobo was not pleased at all with his decision. I got up, threw a leash on her, and packed up as quickly as possible. Here I am sending a video message to my boss, explaining that I might be a bit late to our first meeting. I had already briefed her the day before about my appointment, but this made it clear that my appointment was with this particular mountain. Well, it's Monday morning. I have no idea what time. I'm going to guess around 6:30, 7 o'clock or so. And I've already fallen once. Coming down off of Grassy Ridge Bald there. It is slick as heck, and I expect the same over on Jane Bald coming down. So I've got to decide once I get down to Carver's Gap which way I'm going home. Here through Bakersfield, North Carolina side is going to be a lot less ice. They said there's no ice on the roads down there, because coming up Tennessee side, the last mile was kind of slick, and I bet the last 3 miles or so are slick now because it froze overnight. So probably going to go down North Carolina side. I just haven't done that in a long time, so I gotta figure out where the heck I'm going. But it is actually 32 degrees right now up here on top of the Balds, which is surprising to me. Mild 5-mile-an-hour wind or so. So it's really, actually I'd take off a couple layers to start hiking, and I'm sure I'll take off more as I hike if I can get any speed with all this ice on the ground. So the views, man. The views aren't bad at all. Little ice runway here. Take you for a little ride. The rest of the hike down was without incident, and I decided to go down the Tennessee side. Someone was nice enough to throw down some salt on the road, and there were no real slick spots. Once down the Roan Mountain, the sea of clouds was now above us, and it was a foggy drive home. The Balds of Roan had treated me well, and I was better because of it.